Activation code required. Access granted. Warning. Evacuation sequence activated.
We're back. Welcome to the bunker.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S-4 Bunker. So tonight we were originally going to do a Veterans Day show. I think we're going to hold off on that for now. We've had a few things happen in the last week that have caused us to not feel like doing that tonight. So we are going to eventually do that, but tonight instead we are going to be doing a paranormal platter of anything you want. So if anyone has any questions, always join the Discord and ask us any questions you'd like to in there. So tonight on the show, Eric will be back in whenever the hell he gets back. I'm not really fucking sure, but he as soon as he can, he'll be back, and
Izzy will be joining us.
Yeah,
too.
he'll be joining us, and then on the show tonight we have Rosella, we have Robert, we have Rick, and we have John. So.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
So tonight,
Good night.
pretty much we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want to, and then I've already got one question in here. So this is a long one, guys. We're going to start with it. Paula, our wonderful Paula, friend.
Holy cow, that is on.
She says, "What's that?"
Really good looking. She is the better half of a really smoking hot, attractive guy. So, I'm sure it's
Hopefully one day we get to meet him, Paula. Rick, have you met him yet?
no.
Oh, okay. Alright, so Paula says, "Good evening, my bunker friends. I have a question I've been meaning to ask for a while regarding an experience I had roughly 15 years ago. So I used to live on Lopez Island in the San Juans. I attended a church that was on a neighboring island, and as the ferry schedule didn't align with the church's schedule, I had to fly over. I would usually take along with 2 different pilots. After years of flying over in small planes, one day I had a really strange thing happen. The minute I got in and buckled up, I felt fear and terror like I've never felt before. I felt like I was freezing, it was summer, and every instinct in my body told me to immediately flee that airplane. I stammered out to the pilot, 'Please stop, I need to get out.' And the pilot and his wife later told me I was drained of all color and had a horrible look on my face. They had to stop on the runway, and I jumped out and ran into the woods. Nothing bad happened that day, but a few months later, this couple, who were dear friends of mine, died when they flew that same plane too low in the fog and hit the side of the Olympic mountain range. I've had the same sort of have a bad feeling about this experience other times in my life, but it is just me having a random panic attack and a coincidence that sometimes bad things happened, or I avoided some kind of danger. Or is there a paranormal thing going on here? I'd love for the panel to give their thoughts on my experience and also speak about people having ESP or what are other predictive abilities called without knowing that that's what it is."
Damn. That sounds like...
What sort of a delayed final destination?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, I've known a few people that have this type of thing. In fact, Kayla is one of them. A few times she has had instances where she has told me we need to do something immediately, we need to change something. One time on the highway, she told me we immediately needed to change lanes, and as soon as I did, the semi-truck that we were following slammed on his brakes and came to an immediate stop, as much as the semi could. But if I wouldn't have changed lanes, we would have been at least 5 to 6 feet underneath that semi-truck.
Damn.
Wow.
So,
Yikes.
honestly, I in my personal opinion, I honestly think that it is a way of us opening up our minds to accept more in and having what is known as a sixth sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's
Well, I
from
was-
some kind of creature or entity that's giving you that sixth sense, I don't know.
It's from a mind tapeworm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
could it be spirit from beyond, sort of doing a nudging sort of thing, like supernatural? They could. Well, in the movie Ghost, where they focus their attention and make something move, or maybe they put a thought in your head somehow. I guess that would be possible, but I don't know. ESP seems the most, I guess, easy explanation, right?
Yeah, because the thing is,
Yeah.
I have an issue thinking that spirits still get that involved for one reason. Most of our spirits now couldn't handle this world.
Yeah,
Well,
there's some caveman freaking out.
Yeah, a caveman sitting there wondering what the hell is a pronoun.
Yeah.
Like I think there'd be too much confusion if it was coming from a spirit, because
Well, I would think it'd be a spirit specific to whomever the person is. Like they were sort of the guardian angel aspect. So the Christmas is coming up. It's a Wonderful Life, sort of.
Yeah.
That unseen, like a grandmother or a deceased mom or dad. Just maybe that's their one thing. They use that amount of energy to somehow direct the child not to. But even that seems kind of because why wouldn't it happen all the time?
and why wouldn't it happen to everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nice thought, but at the same time, it's a horrible thought, because that means some people don't have that, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it would mean their ancestors don't love them. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that, I mean, I don't know. When she says, like, how can a person develop that? I think it's just like, for me, it's like what I try to tell people, majorly listen to your intuition. Because the more that you listen to your intuition, which is your angels, I think, guiding you, and your spirit, your loved one, whoever is up there guiding you, helping you. I think that is a part of your intuition as well sometimes. So you have to really listen to that. And once you do, you're going to develop that even more. And so you'll get like hypersensitive when there is a moment when you need to like not leave the house or get in the car that day. Like this is a bad situation. I got to get out. You have to listen to your body, your intuition. And I've had those experiences a lot, unfortunately. It's kind of funny. Like one day, I just told my husband not to like get into the car, and thank God he listened to me, because there was like a freakish storm later that day, and if he was driving home, like and not work from home, and this is years ago, he would have gotten caught in it. And there was like a huge pileup we always have a pileup on I-75 in Ohio, in this one section where there's a whiteout. So it could have been him in it. A lot of instances like that have happened to me in my life. And especially though if I get messages for other people. So if you guys get a message from me, like literally take heed, because I'm never wrong.
So,
I want to be wrong a lot, but I'm like, nope, not wrong.
A follow-up question she has is, how could a person develop this ability if they do have it? My first answer would be, if it's a spirit, like one of your ancestors, kill more of the older people around you.
Yeah. You just start gaining more power.
Like the sound of that.
Well, it's the Highlander theory, right?
Yeah.
There can be only one.
The only one?
If you're the last of your descendants, all of them will follow you.
Yeah.
So just kill off all your cousins, everyone except for you. Be the last of your bloodline. Then you gain all the power.
Okay, who do I need to see that?
One of our ancestors. Go ahead.
It would be kind of cool. It would seem like it'd be cool to have like a Force ghost, like Obi-Wan, to tell you what to do and where to go, except for the fact that he was really vague. And if he just told Luke some things, it would have made his whole getting to Vader and beating him or redeeming him go a lot faster. So I don't know that I want my grandmother coming back and telling me what I should and shouldn't be doing, because it was annoying enough when she was here.
Yeah, and it would kind of be worse that she's just like a floating blue spirit in the corner, just telling you get your elbows off the table, put a napkin on your stuff, fold the laundry.
That's what happens to me all the time.
I just had my grandmother show up this morning, telling me what I need to do.
Yeah, that happens to me like every day. I'm just saying, especially my daughter. Like, I've turned around, I think I've said before, like, I turn around from doing the dishes, and they're right there with their hands on their hips. Like, I'm like, what'd she do now? Dang it. What'd she do? This is always my daughter. In the butt.
Bren,
So, yeah.
I don't have that issue, really. Like, I never talked to any of my ancestors after they've passed. Most of them probably don't want to talk to me. I'm going to admit that. For him.
I think it's all the way that you look at it, though, because if you look at it like they're guiding you and they know what's best for you, and they know your wants and your needs.
Yeah, but I'm also a stubborn motherfucker, and I wouldn't listen to him. So.
And I feel like a few ancestors
I have found the hard way to listen.
wouldn't. Just a few ancestors wouldn't want to steer you in the good direction. Just a few. There's got to be a few evil ones out in your bloodline.
Let me tell you this. Have you guys ever had, like, an experience that you've hung out with, like, a bad group of people that you are feeling you should get away from, and all of a sudden you just feel like this is the last time I'm going to see these people again?
Yeah, but I made them. I can't do that.
Hey.
What?
That was rude.
Just saying.
Oh.
I'm the joy in your life. I bring it purpose.
You keep telling yourself that.
I will.
Well, there's this one time that I was investigating this house, and I was writing a book about the paranormal activity, and there's a paranormal group that ran this house, basically, and let people come in. And I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, everybody was ignoring the messages that I was giving. I mean, this woman ignored me when I said her dead husband was coming through to tell her a warning. She ignored me. And all of a sudden, because I have like copper rods that I was basically really using big time then, I can do both, but I used them in front of them so they could see the answers. And they faced inward, like they went inward on me. And they touched my chest and said, "This is the last time you'll be here." In my head, I heard it only. And they said, "Get out. These people don't deserve you." And I think, see, like, if you listen to that and you know that it's good for you to leave, like, that is validation for me. Like, get out. This isn't for you. These people are bad. They're toxic. You're no good for them anymore. They're not listening. Get out. It's kind of like the same thing that Paula had, though, in a way. Get out. Yeah. This isn't good for you. Yeah.
Like, and I don't feel like I've ever had that. Like, I let my Canadian take over a lot, so I will actually sit with a toxic person for ever, really. And yeah, like, well, shit,
Your
I had
obligation.
2 of them living with us for, what, 10 years?
A little bit more.
Yeah, we had 2 people that they were absolutely toxic, and they lived with us for like 10 years.
Yeah.
These your relatives?
Nope.
Or
They were friends, and then, but they just, like, everything about them was completely toxic.
And one really took advantage.
Yeah, like, but
Wow.
I could never find it in me to tell them, hey, I'm done. Friend,
Yeah, you're just too nice of a guy.
apparently. No, I was.
Yeah.
Because now that they're gone, I told Kayla we were never getting a roommate again. I don't care. Friend, if someone stays the night, they're getting a ticket when they get in. That, like, hey, you have till this time to get the fuck out. Friend. So the Canadian part kind of left me, I think. I don't know. Friend.
Yeah, America corrupted you.
As it does.
It's what we're known for.
Well, it's like fear, obligation, guilt, and it's a hard thing to get away from. But setting those boundaries and forgiving yourself for what you did not know you walked into, that kind of thing. Nikki is saying yes a lot, so.
Well,
No, she just nodding. She hasn't said shit. Speak.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when I was married to my first wife, the first 6 months it was great. And then for the next year and a half until we were officially divorced, it was just a nightmare. She was physically and verbally abusive, but it wasn't anything to the point. She did it for a while. It wasn't like it was a typical verbal abuse that she just gave me on an almost daily basis. And I had gone to see a friend, and on her authorization, please go see your friend. He literally lived a quarter mile down the street from me. Went, and I was back early, and I was catching the 10th degree. And I don't know where it came from. I'd been, same thing had happened over and over again. And it never got me to the point where the words just said, I want a divorce, came out. Literally had not planned on it. If she said anything, just like any other day, I'd have just ignored it and not about my business. For whatever reason, it popped into my head, and then it was go time. Now, I don't know how that got there. It wasn't because I was being triggered. I mean, I just think it was something nudged me in that direction. Whatever it was, that was enough. Let's just be done with this.
You had you were done, your ending point,
Yeah.
And I think we all get pushed, like we experience it so much until we get pushed, like enough to say no.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of toxic I've had like a lot of girlfriend toxic relationships, unfortunately. And then a lot of males pretending to be my husband's friend to get to me, especially in the last year, it's just insane.
Huh.
It is crazy. I don't know, or you hit this age of 40, but all these men just started like crazy hitting on me. In fact, they do it in front of my husband and don't care. Happened even last weekend. Don't even care. My brother was there, my husband was there, whispered in my ear twice, and I am friends with his wife. And I do business with them as well. So I'm like, are you shitting me right now? Like, what the hell do I even do? You're still, they count on the shock. It's just weird. It's very strange. And I don't know. You guys are guys. Maybe you can explain it to me.
You make it. I've had that happen. You make it fucking public. You make it known in their face, in the face of what is going on. You make that shit public so that other people know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I started telling a lot of people because I had 3 men who did it to me this last January that I got rid of. In fact, even one of them hit on my daughter, who had been friends with us forever. Oh yes, my daughter was only 12. This was the day after. It happened New Year's Eve, and then it happened after that, right in front of me and my husband. So my husband grabbed my daughter and then ran her upstairs, and I threw him out. and he was hitting on me the entire way out the door, saying he was in love with me and all this. He was just very sick. So, really terrible.
His defense must have been he wanted to get a cupcake.
Aww.
John. Friend, like me and Kayla have experienced that where guys have hit on her right in front of me. I'm going to start by saying I'm not a jealous man, but it did not go well for them.
Good.
And I immediately got kicked out of the venue. So
You repeat what when it happens to you as a woman, you stand there and you say, "Excuse me, you just said what to me?" And make them fucking repeat it out loud in front of everybody.
Okay.
Then you make them repeat it again, at least 3 times. You make it known, because that is bullshit behavior and it's secretive behavior they want hidden. Yes, it's for shock value, but you need to get other people involved, and that's the way to get other people involved.
That's true.
That is
That's a good idea.
bullshit behavior.
Yeah, it was like, it was insane. Can't believe it. What are you showing us, Robert? Oh, good idea.
yeah,
Voice
that
recorder. Yeah, I was thinking when you were talking about your daughter, I was thinking that's where you start videotaping. You get a frickin' video. You get your phone out and you
Most
start
definitely.
recording it.
That is a good idea. Yeah, I think that they really
Because
rely
then
on
you've
that
got-
shock factor for
Then
sure.
you've got documented evidence that this guy is going after a fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah, it was gross. It was awful. And we had been friends with them and neighbors with them for 25 years. So my husband and I grew up right beside them. So we've known them our whole lives. So it was really, really bad. But yeah, like it's just really crazy stuff. And it's like, like that toxicity. I mean, fear, obligation, guilt. I think that I knew that it was kind of happening and felt it, but you didn't have proof yet. And then they do it like in front of everybody whispering in your ear. And you're just in so much shock that you don't know what to do. Yeah.
This is
And I
what
teach
I've
people about boundaries, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, and they're expecting you to have a reaction and not be public about it. They're expecting to see you have a reaction on your face, but yet because it's out in public, you're going to be polite enough not to say anything. That's what they count on.
Yep.
What you're dealing with is a pedophile regarding the kid. What you're dealing with is sexual deviant isn't the right word. There's a specific word I'm going for.
Predation?
Pedophile?
Regarding the adult women that these men are going after. They're specific feeding off of the woman's secrecy. And they're expecting not only to intimidate, they're expecting to demoralize, but yet they're getting their frickin' jollies off of it, but yet at the same time, they're feeding off of it. And they want that. They want that. So, in other words, in order to turn it around on them, make them say it publicly, out loud, in front of everybody, and you get other people's attention. It's the only way to put a stop to that bullshit, and it makes everybody aware around you of what this person is, of their deviancy.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I will say
Bad people do this to me.
I do agree with you, Nikki, when it comes to men. I don't think that'll work as well when it comes to women that do it.
Yeah, actually it does. I've heard of men actually turning the tables in a business sense.
Okay, yeah, in a business sense. But
in
like
a business sense it works, but I have not heard it work turning the tables on a woman who does this in a private group setting. It doesn't necessarily turn right. However, in a business sense, wow, that doesn't go well.
So I used to be a DJ, and I used to do weddings and stuff, and I had a girl at a wedding that, number one, I was 35, 34, and she was maybe 19, 20. And she came and tried to sit on my lap to look at my
I have
computer.
no doubt.
And she got mad at me because I refused to let her. Friend.
Yeah, I can see it.
And, like, that is one thing I am very adamant about. My ring doesn't ever come off my finger hardly. If it does, it's because I forgot it in the shower. But that happens, like, once every year at the most. Friend.
Well, and I think that it's a challenge. Like, if you have a ring, and you know, like, if, as a woman, I think that it is a challenge for men. I've gone out to places with, especially this girl who was divorced, and I would get it hit on every single night we went out, and she was terribly jealous. I had to get rid of her because she was so toxic. She told me to dress down and not be myself. She told me that all these men love me and I had to stop being so gorgeous and beautiful. And I'm like, excuse me, what? I mean, I'd never had anybody try to make me feel bad about, looking decent to me. Like, that's just how I looked. I wasn't going to change for anybody. Then she started dressing like me, got the same hairstyle, bought the same clothes, started telling people she had gifts. It was like, apparently people have said this is a single white female, kind of like exactly what she did. Putting down my children, telling me to leave my husband. So I got rid of her one night when she basically she attacked me in my driveway. And told me to leave my husband. Yeah, this is July 24th, this last year. And I've gotten rid of so many people, it's like insane. I think that a lot of people are drawn to my energy though. So it's like,
And you've got
hard.
sexual energy that you're not. See, I've got a girlfriend that's like this.
Ew,
Excuse me.
okay.
And she has experienced. She's gorgeous. She's, just beautiful. And she draws guys in. And she is not the kind of person to draw guys in. She doesn't go out looking for
You don't want to.
and she doesn't project it. But the women around her, even in business, okay, she's been in a professional environment for freaking years. We're talking 20, 30 years, okay? And she has had even coworkers do real freaking similar, the kind of things that you were just talking about, to her. And there's a sexual energy with her that she, and it just, and she's being polite, she's being business, and
I'm always trying to be professional.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the hell?
Her energy draws people in. But then you get that jealousy factor because they can't handle it. They can't handle, and it's like they can't handle even getting to know this person because you got all this negative, and I'm like, damn. So, she and I had numerous conversations about this very thing. And there's not, you have to be you. You have to be
I'm
the
not
true
stopping me.
Don't ever stop anybody from being the true you.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's crazy because, now that I notice it, I'm like, well, what the hell? And people are like, you're this vegan or something. And I do have just a lot of energy. I always have ideas, and I'm trying to be really uplifted and positive kind of thing. But, it was really very toxic and weird. And I think that it kind of just, like, affected the energy around me as well. And then all my other friends were like, well, I didn't want to say anything, but we always hated her. She was really unattractive. She was really gross and mean. My children, oh my gosh, they let it rip that they hated her. So no one liked her. And I think that I was just feeling sorry for her for the divorce and the situation she was going through. But then after that, of course, realized that's probably why she was divorced, because I think that she was just as bad as the spouse she was married to. Very abusive. Yeah, a lot of abuse. And she hid it from me because she was a narcissist, so she just hid it very well, until it flew off and she didn't get what she wanted, then she attacked. But yeah, it's kind of nuts. And these men too, they'll be very aggressive when they don't get what they want. Then that guy, when I was throwing out, he's like, "You want this?" I'm like, "No, the hell I don't." And he was like old, so it was really disgusting. I mean, this guy was well into his 70s. So, yeah, I know. Robert's like, I love it. Like, yes. Yes, it was very icky. He looked like Santa, like a very old, shriveled up raisin of a Santa. It was not good.
It's just what Robert did.
Yeah, it's like, why would I want this? Are you kidding me? And yeah, I really want somebody who's over 70 when I'm married to a husband who's like 40. Sure, sign me up for that. Ew. It still makes my skin roll.
Have you guys seen that new show, Tulsa King?
Tulsa King? No.
It's Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, yes.
In the first episode. Yeah, in the first episode, he takes a girl home who's 40 years old, and then she asks how old he is after they're done, and he says, "Why don't you just ask me where I was when JFK died?" And she's like, "Okay, where were you?" He said, "I was a senior in high school." She's like, "That makes you, and he's like, 75. And she's like, "I have to go."
But then another episode down the road,
she's right back there. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is Sylvester Stallone. Like, that's a lot of money, guys. Like, you know. And in this show, he's still rich. Like,
But, okay, so here's the thing.
Yep.
There are some guys who are 70, 75 and still have a great body. I mean, it's not the best that they had back when they were in their 30s and 40s.
Right.
But they're few and far between.
yeah.
Well, you know, it's like Sean Connery. Like Sean Connery's dead now, but everybody, all the women always idolized him. He was in his 70s still making movies, and still women were swooning, you know?
Clint Eastwood.
I mean,
Gere is older now.
also,
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Mark Harmon's out there. He's, I mean, yeah, he's, I mean, I think he won. Yeah.
Yeah, some men don't age. Like, and then there's some who you're like, they'll be hot forever, and then they don't. Like, they're not.
it's just don't age well.
No. Mm-mm. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, I was just wondering too if other people had these experiences because, yeah, like I can go anywhere. My husband will be like right next to me. And they'll be hitting on me. And I'm like, what the hell? My husband's sitting here. We both have rings on, talking to you as a husband and wife. And they'll do it. It is the craziest crap. And it's just been in the last few years.
Now, here's the other side of that. Here's the other side to this conversation is that you've got men and women who are open relationships that are married that know they're in open relationships. I've got friends, or had friends, I don't anymore, but I had friends years ago who are they, as a couple, they're married, they like going to specific kinds of parties. I mean, they're very open, but when they come home, I mean, they're with each other. They are with each other, but they like very specific activities. And so there are people that do that. Doesn't mean that everybody does, but there's the other side of the coin. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. You need to freaking find out first before if they're a player. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're in that kind
I
of
agree.
playing, you gotta freaking find out. I mean, and the people that I knew, they found out. I mean, they came up and straight out asked you, do you do this? Are you in? And if they found out, if either one of them found out, they were like, oh, get the hell, we're out of here. You know, because they're very respectful. They were very respectful of other people's marriages. But if they found other couples that were like that, then there was an interesting exchange, shall we say.
There was about a month ago, there was a very small rumor that me and Kayla were in a throuple. And Kayla told me about it. And it's because the people at Kayla's work, none of them could remember my name at that point, so they all called me husband. And so the one lady was very confused about who I was with. And but Kayla came and told me about it, and I said, hell no. And she's like, you wouldn't like that? And I said, not a friggin' chance. I can't handle you emotionally half the time.
This is what I think. I'm like, yeah, don't give me another spouse. Hell no.
The sex aside, emotionally, I can only handle one person.
Here's the thing.
No,
what I learned from a couple of years ago was that it is about sexual preferences. It is not about relationships with them. It is about preferences. Their emotional stability is with their life partner. So there are so many things. I'm
these people who were doing this to me were not like that. They were just trying to cheat.
Oh my God! I was like, okay, that's in. But it worked for them, and then I met people that are like, oh no, that's not what we do at all, and I'm like, okay. So then I met folks that were into BDSM, and I'm like, why are they? And I'm like, why are people choosing me to talk to about this?
That's what I was just like. How do you meet these people?
This is not my forte, but I learned a lot. I mean, it was a hell of an education. I met so many different people who, wow, and I'm like, okay, now I understand different mentalities about different subjects. It was really far out of my comfort zone, let's just put it that way, but I was open to learning and hearing what they had to say, and those folks were actually honest in their communication with me, and I was like, there were times I got on the phone that I was just like, okay, I need a drink after hearing all of that. Oh my God.
Yeah. I met one couple who was like that. Now, they didn't invite me to do anything, thank God, but she was telling me about it, and I'm like, I'm done.
It's so different than how I was raised and what I grew up with. And,
yeah.
But the learning curve, I was just like, wow. Okay. But it was fascinating. So there are so many different sides to not just relationships, but I mean, what does one person classify as a good quality relationship versus somebody else? And it's just like, wow, okay. It's a real eye-opener and mind-bender. But regarding what we were talking about earlier, when you have somebody like what you were talking about, Rosella, coming at you and they are that aggressive and that they're feeding on the fact that, and they're expecting the woman to be embarrassed and to not say anything. They're not, and you got to turn the tables on them. That is what I learned from a number of different folks that have actually, I've seen it in action. And boom. I mean, it's a mind bender when, and then it embarrasses the guy, because then the other guys in the room will come after and go, what the hell is going on over here? And then you have a different kind of conversation.
Wow.
So you got to keep them out of their secrecy.
Yeah, I think I really have to get onto it, like, because it's just like always so shocking. Like, wasn't raised around any of that, and it's been the last few years, especially. And I've heard from other women, it's like, yeah, when you have a ring on, you know, like, and maybe Kayla and Paula too, like, just to see what they said, but like when you have a ring on, that they say that it's a challenge, and you know, the first thing they do is say, like, you must be a good Catholic girl too. So they already like are on to that. I am saying no and shutting it down, so I'm more of a challenge. So it's two challenges. It's really so sick. and they don't really like to take no from an answer. I've had a guy whip stuff out, like literally at at a bar, and I'm like, "There's a camera right there, idiot! You just got had. Call the cops. There's the evidence."
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's like
So he really exposed himself.
No kidding. And this is why
this
there
is supposed to impress me. I'm like, I'm not impressed.
This is why now when you go to a bar, there are safety measures. You can ask a specific cocktail, read the bar sign all around you, or the tavern, or wherever you're at, or go into the women's restroom. There are signs wherever you go in the bar that will say, hey, whatever, or if you're in trouble and you need help, order this, or say this phrase to the bartender, and they will get you a cab. They will find a way for you to get out of that building safe and sound so that you can get home safe and sound. There are measures nowadays.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so and that is across the country. I've been hearing from different friends all across the country. I'm in hell. What is going on with my camera?
What is going on with your camera? Yeah.
What the heck? Come on. There we go.
That was weird.
Somebody just walked in front of what I think. I don't feel
It
anything.
looked like somebody did.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. So yeah, and I think I'm getting a little too intense because I'm starting to feel it. But yeah, I know folks that I'm in the West Coast of Washington. I'm in Washington State, so I'm on the West Coast. I've got friends literally across the country. Usually the middle of the country, but across the country and all along the eastern seaboard from Florida all the way to Massachusetts. And everyone has talked about that has ever been in a tavern or a shot pool or does darts and just goes in to have a beer or have a drink or whatever, or they actually go to party, like really party. In the last, the last 5 to 7 years, there have really been a push in a lot of these bars, taverns, party locations, even in restaurants now. There are a number of restaurants that will actually have signs in the women's restroom, or even for that matter, in the men's restroom, because there are gay gentlemen who have maybe a situation, they're on a date, they're in a real, something's wrong.
Yeah.
In whatever the meeting of this person, and they need an out. And so when you write a note and you say whatever phrase that restaurant uses, the wait staff know, the bartenders know, they are made aware. And you have a safety way out.
Yeah, that is actually a good idea. I've never seen a sign, but I'm going to check some bathrooms and stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to go out without my phone for sure after all this stuff now.
That's a bit like calling not 000, but 911 over there and ordering pizza. There's
Yes.
pizza that you order, and they'll know that you're in danger, and they'll send somebody straight to you.
Yeah, that actually, I've heard a number of TikTok videos. I've heard a number of 911 calls that have been publicized about that very thing. And the 911 operators are trained in you're not safe. Correct. And we want, and the woman, it's usually a woman saying it. We have whatever, and we want, okay, and your address, and they know. They have a way for the police to show up and to help that person. So, yeah, it's really interesting. There are ways to work around things.
I've learned a lot from all this stuff, like, honestly. And listening to this, it's like, that's good, because at least there's... In a way, it's sad, because I think society has changed, and things have gotten really more aggressive. out there publicly, no filters anymore due to like social media.
Definitely.
And most of my intuition usually comes from this is a very bad situation, like, gotta get out before it happens. And then it happens, and I'm like, damn, it wasn't fast enough.
I just grab popcorn for those moments. And I sit there and watch them most of the time. Like,
Well, at least with the 71-year-old, you can easily outrun him.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yes, he would definitely not be able to catch me. And yeah, we've run into him
Unless
once.
it's a
That's
runner.
it.
yeah, like
Yeah,
what if it's in what if it's in 30 years and it's Usain Bolt? You're screwed. You're like,
Yeah, at that point, you're just done for.
Well, at least I know that I will outlive him. So good. Yes. I was like, I'll still win. I'll outlive you.
Oh, but then that leads to the if the spirit comes back to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that might be a big banishment moment.
Keeps us age. Keeps us age.
Yeah.
We're
Yes,
gonna have
good.
a conversation about one subject, but when you said that, when the two of you said that, my first thought was Capone. Capone likes to come back to be really
Aggressive.
What the hell is the word, Robert? I mean, you experienced him while you
Annoying.
annoying.
Perverse.
Oh my God, the man. Perverse is an understatement. Yeah, he likes to get his jollies. He likes to get his jollies off of seeing how much he can shock you with information, and then project in your head what he's done to people. And I'm like, I finally called bullshit. And well, I didn't just finally. It happened the very first time, and so when he comes back periodically, he doesn't have like the shock value, and it rather annoys the shit out of him.
I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, there are certain spirits that still like to they like shock value. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna get your jollies off of this, dude. I'm not gonna let you.
Yeah. You can't let him win. I always tell people, don't let them steal your shine. Don't let them win, because they'll just keep coming back for more. Yeah. I banish them. The bad ones, I mean, the spirits that when you can.
There's been a couple. You're never coming back to me ever again.
Good.
Capone, I'll tolerate, but he and I have an understanding. I'll listen to you, but you pull that shit with me, and I will tie your ass to the goddamn wall. I will not put up with that. And then he's like, oh, I'd like to see you try to. Oh.
I've only had like one angry spirit. Like one person, well, I guess like two that were angry. One was begging for my forgiveness, and because he had done my family wrong. But I'm like, you need to talk to my mother. You did my mother and their sisters and brothers wrong. Has nothing to do with me. I won't even talk to you about it. And then the other time, so the book I wrote, the husband, he just died. He died like maybe 2 winters ago, and he dropped in. Again, it was one of those moments where I was doing the dishes. I swear it's running water. Doing the dishes, I turned around, he was behind me. And I was like, oh. And I knew exactly who it was within a few seconds. And I knew this moment would come, that he would be really angry. But he had died pretty young. I think he was probably 67, 68, maybe tops. And then his wife, who had died already, dropped in. And she had her back towards him, and she wouldn't even talk to him. Heck, she would hardly acknowledge me, but she was there to protect me. It was like, I'm here, but I will not face him. I won't have anything to do with him. And you need to do the same. Like, she was just kind of showing me. And I'm like, and I did. I just said, sorry you feel that way, just like a normal, alive person. Sorry you feel that way. And just, close into things. So, I'm not doing it. And she has every right to tell the story. And I did. I did it for her. I did it for me. You don't like it? Don't care. Just get out of my house. You weren't invited. You know, that was my first ghost fight. Mostly they're just demonic. So and I'm an exorcist person, so I'm exiling, banishing them out. So, but yeah, have a fight with a ghost. Oh, never
Been
really
there,
fun.
done that. I'm a lot of the same way. I will not put up with
That'd be too hand.
demons.
Yeah.
Talk to the hand. Talk to the hand.
Don't like it, talk to the hand. Yeah, don't care.
I'm very much the same way. I mean, I'm like, no way. Wannabes, the true demons, and the true demons are so frickin' rare. But the wannabes, they are a pain in the goddamn ass. I kid you not. I'm like, what is your deal? Seriously? You don't need. Why? Get the hell off this planet. Get out of this realm.
Yeah.
Really? Leave us the heck alone.
Yeah, they're like that. Look at my muscles. I can flex. Yeah. Not.
Exactly. It just gets really interesting. And they try so many screwy things, and they feed on our fear. And that's what I talk about.
Yes.
You can't have fear. Quit with the fear factor. The more you have fear, the more they want to feed on it. And those in this conversation last night, those that are in the hospital, they have fear over whatever anxiety or whatever illness that they've got going on. And then boom, they're having other issues. Well, it's because they got something feeding on them. Some kind of entity. I've come through so many freaking hospitals in west side of Washington, in King County and Snohomish County, and I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? Have a clearing out of the entire freaking hospital because this is bullshit.
You know, I go by some hospitals traveling, and I'm like, I have to put my hand up, like blocking it. Like, nope, not looking, nope. So I thought I was the only one who did that. People are like, if I'm there in my car, they're like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah,
no.
sometimes it's the entire campus of a hospital. Sometimes it's very specific sections. Sometimes it's the entire freaking building. There's a you know, I can't say what area. So I don't want to get sued. So there's a specific
Don't do that.
city, one hospital. That I can say. There's a specific city in me that has only one hospital. And I've been in that hospital many times because of my mom. And there's that hospital and the building that's God, I'm trying to think. I think it's like 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, somewhere between 4 and 6 miles away from that hospital. There's another former hospital building that has been turned into a medical building, a medical plaza. And the two of them, it's like those whatever beings are in both buildings, they feed on each other. And it's like, oh my God. When my mom was at this one hospital, I had to clear an entire ward because it was like, you having creepy, crawly, slithery, slimy things slithering through the floor, through the doors as the doors are well, they don't even have to love it, but the door happened to be slithering through like huge giant anacondas, what it reminded me of. And then it got up on like legs and had these weird feet, reminded me of a centipede, and then crawled up the wall over the ceiling and over into the corner. And I'm like, oh, like hell, you did not just do that. And I'm like, we're done. I'm like, I'm not putting up with that shit. You're not coming in here. You're not. No.
Yeah, I have to. It's funny, like the kids always laugh at me because I pretend I have like the horse blinders on. Like, nope, can't do it, can't. Like, Mom, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Mommy's just crazy. It's weird.
Yeah. I just go. There's nothing going on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was this one time because my friend was in the nursing home and she's talking to me, and all of a sudden this ball of yellow light just is, like, goes by the door, and then I saw it like 3 times going back and forth, and I'm like, oh man. And she's like, what are you looking at? And she had dementia at that point, and I was like, okay, so she doesn't remember my gift, so I just finally said, well, there's you have a very busy hallway. Yeah, you have a very busy hallway. So I had the kids go close the door because Mommy could not stand to see the hallway in, like, the side of my vision anymore. Like, they'll just kind of, like, they're just, beacons to it. And, them to me. And I'm like, no, I can't. Or I feel like crazy nauseous. I hate hospitals. I really hate nursing homes because they're worse. Ugh.
Yeah, you get a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I understand this.
Yeah, 6 weeks in the hospital. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, I bet you do. It's just here. It's and the energy is just crazy. I bet you've just, like, put a camera in your hospital room, and you just, when you're, like, sleeping, with all the crap you would see, or awake.
Actually, the rehab unit wasn't too bad. There weren't any there that I could sense, but it was in the main part of the hospital. Like the emergency room, the surgery wards, because that's where I had those premonitory dreams, and it turns out that was from the Ukraine. So yeah, they were basically saying this is what's about to happen. So,
I had premonitions of Russia for 3 years, and people laughed at me how I could see Russia like lit up, and, like, if you looked at a map and it was like all of a sudden, like, highlighted the borders all around it and flashing, like a Bud Light sign in a bar, just like flashing. That's the only way I can describe it. Like,
that's
well, what do you mean?
That's how I am with Israel right now. I've had that for a number of years, and it's just nuts. And
that one did not surprise me. Yeah, and
I'm getting even more stuff, and yet at the same time, I'm getting stuff about California and certain individuals out of a certain desert country that has nothing to do with Israel, actually. And I'm like, yeah.
It's just a pit.
Coming. Things are coming.
Yeah, it's really, it's not good. I remember when people were laughing at me for 3 years leading up to the Russia thing, and I'm like, the day after the Olympics pretty much is when it's going to all happen. And then my husband walked in. It was the night before that day, and he literally said it out of nowhere. And I'm like, what are the odds that you came in and said that? And I've been waiting for this moment for 3 years. I mean, actually, I saw the whole DC thing too happening, the January 6th thing. So, like, I saw that, and I was shocked to see it on the news. However, I knew it was going to happen, and I felt it all day.
Have you been seeing what's coming in the United States regarding? Oh crap! I had the word and now it's gone. So I'm going to call it civil unrest is what I'm going to call it. I had to think about that. I keep seeing riots is what I keep seeing.
Riots and shootings as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the Texas stuff that had happened, like now a little bit ago, I knew that was going to happen. Yeah. I can't watch the news anymore because I just know.
No, I don't. Last few years, I haven't watched news at all. I mean, stuff comes up on my news feed. Sometimes I'll watch, but I don't have regular TV anymore for that. One of those.
Yeah, people are like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, no, I can't do it anymore. I will ask though, Nikki, have you ever been a person like? Have you ever worked with police in murders? Okay, I've done a few.
They do not want anything to do with me.
Oh, okay, I've done a few.
Very frustrating. Because there's a couple of skills that could be solved.
Okay, I'm assuming.
I've had a number of crime victims come to me, and they are
Me
many
too.
of them are from the same serial killers. And there's
Oh.
I actually I talked with a retired government agent, and he starts laughing at me because he's a retired profiler. Choice words about him, but that's beside the point. Anyway, he starts laughing at me, and he's like, "Well, get the addresses, get the street signs, get license plate numbers." And I'm like, "You obviously have never looked at a psychic medium."
Yeah.
It does not work like that. And he's like,
No.
"Well, get the victims to tell you." And
tell you.
Yeah, and so basically, what I put out onto the other side is I'm like, I will talk to you. I will listen to what you have to say regarding the crime victims. And then there have been victims. There's a gentleman, I will never forget his last memories. He is like, "I'm done. I want to move on. I want somebody to know what I went through." He gave me his first name. He would not give me his last name, which I thought was odd. And he gave me his very last memories. And that was, when it comes to babies, when I've seen babies murdered from the souls that have shown me what they experienced, and I have seen these specific kinds of crime victims, I sat and cried. I mean, when babies, and when this gentleman from this one, who's still out there, by the way, the serial killer is still out there, and he showed me his memories, and I sat and cried because I was like, it traumatized me for about a week. It took me quite some time to.
No, I don't think you ever get over that.
No, you don't. They're their last memories. They want somebody to know what they're... And I'm like, okay, where's your body? Where's your bones? They'll never find my bones. They will never find my bones because what this person did. They made sure that the body was dissolved. They made sure that the bones were no longer viable in any way, shape, or form. And now I've got songs that I used to love. Oh my God. There's a different series of crime victims that have come to me from a completely different serial killer. And I cannot listen to certain songs that I used to, country songs that I used to actually dearly love. Because now I correlate those damn songs with a specific serial killer because they are songs that this MFer likes to listen to as he's doing his deed. And I'm okay, dude, I'm going to put the energy out there that you get caught. Because I am not going to screw up my karma. Do what I want to do so that you get dead.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So that you get, I'm like, no, but I will figure out a way because, and yet I've got enough written information from a number of crime victims that have come to me that are some of them are cold cases. Well, quite a few of them are cold cases. Some of them are 15 to 30 years out. Others are 7 years out. But it's like, who the hell is going to listen? They don't fucking want to hear it. And it's like, okay, well, and I've known two retired Seattle police, well, one is now, she's not Seattle, she was California, but one of them, she's now deceased. The other one is a retired Seattle police detective, and they have told me verbatim almost word for word the exact same thing in how to deal with police and giving the information to them. And I have friends that work with officers, and it's like they don't want to hear it. I've had officers actually hang up on me.
I've experienced some of that too, unfortunately.
They really hang up on you after they'll run your name, and I'm like, okay, what kind of, and I don't have anything on me. I mean, there's nothing on me that, I mean, he can run my name till you're blue in the freaking face. There's nothing on me that's gonna off the fuck up.
Yeah.
So, but
well,
yeah,
except for
just,
that public indecency thing.
What?
That public indecency thing. You know, where you got caught using your whips on the beach.
On the ocean.
Yeah.
On the ocean.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That was public indecency.
Hello, I was in a bathing suit. I'm completely covered. Me and my big tits are being completely covered up. Hello.
I think they were more worried about how your spirit beads came out.
Oh my goodness.
Or was that a different time?
Okay, what they're referring to, I'm going to tell you, Rosella, what they're referring to is I had...
She was naked on the beach with a fucking whip. What more can you say?
I was not. Steve, I was not. Anyway, I basically had a job to do. I was literally sitting where I am now. And my spirit guides got really ticked off at me because I hadn't grounded and centered the second I started doing my energy work and extreme higher consciousness work. And I had two spirit guides, more specifically one, and he yanked my soul cord out of my ass and put it into the ground, to the center of the earth. And I am here to tell you I had 3 days of butt pain because he did that.
It's not damn painful, I mean.
It was extremely painful. I'm like, what the hell?
Like, he said, I'm like, no.
And so when they talk about butt beads, that's what they're talking about. Because they're making laughter and it was it's very funny when you, I mean, what to think about. I kid you not. I'm like, guys, don't ever fucking do that again. It was painful, man.
I tell you, I jumped a little bit.
It hurt for 3 days, and I'm like, damn, I'm not somebody that's into that kind of thing, but holy Toledo.
Yeah,
so
no thanks.
That you've got that, and then you've got the issue of, I found out through my counseling in the 1990s when I was in my early 30s, and I was going through counseling for childhood sexual abuse stuff. And I found out that a method that worked for me, getting out my frustration, was finding a whip, because I used to go to Ocean Shores, or not Long Beach, but it was the other one. I think the name of the other. And you take a kelp whip, a kelp cord off the beach, and you pound it on the top of the water. And my counselor said, well, why don't you get a whip? Why don't you get some kind of whip? And anytime you go to the ocean, you can use that. That's a really good way of getting out some anger and some frustration. And it worked. It took me a long time to find something that worked for me. But, so they like to tease me quite a bit about my whip on the ocean. And the butt beads.
Okay, I can kind of see why, but yes, I get it though. I get your point.
Yes, and you see how red my cheeks are right now?
Yes, I do.
And just to be clear, I disagree with Eric. I don't believe you were naked. I think you were wearing chaps.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
It's so funny.
But yeah,
I guess we've gone really far off course because we're talking about butt beads. And
don't we always?
Oh, I'd say that. Of course.
I feel bad because Paula has reposted her thing. Can you guys talk about what I'm talking about?
Oh.
I think I already said my experiences. I guess, have you guys ever had an intuitional experience? I say more intuitional.
Yeah,
It
Robert.
wasn't scary though. It wasn't scary though. It was more like hitting a brick wall when I was walking across the street from a friend's place. That was when I was 9 years old in 1982, and yeah, it was a couple of days before Christmas, 23rd of December. I'd just been over there playing with him, and he and his big elder brother were going with their grandparents down to the beach, which is about half an hour drive from where they were. And I was walking across back to my grandparents' place, and I was about a foot from the gutter, and I just stopped dead in the track. I felt like I hit a brick wall, and I heard a voice saying, "Stop, go back, tell him not to go, or you'll never see him again." And I tried moving again, and same thing, hit brick wall type thing, and same sort of message saying, if you don't go back and tell him not to go, he will die. And being 9 years old, if I had gone back and told him, who would listen?
Yeah.
So I just kept going. I finally able to go on the third attempt to go back into the grandparents' place. And later on that afternoon, the mother got a phone call saying that Adrian had died at the beach because he was hit by a car that was coming over there's a sort of a hill that goes up and then down onto the causeway area, and him and his brother were on the bridge. The bridge has a lot of stones on it either side, and they were on one side, and Adrian had jumped over the rock barrier and was running across the road, and he just got flattened by this car that had come over the hill. So, yeah.
God.
So, I've been living with that 42 years. 42 years at 50 now, so yeah.
My God, I'm so sorry.
That's alright. I'm used to it now. But that was the first time that I'd heard something like that. So, yeah, that's my first initial story for it, Paula. There are a few others, but I won't bore you with them. Not yet, anyway.
What is it? It is, how could a person develop disability if they do have it, and has anyone on the panel ever had these types of experiences?
I've had it so many times it's kind of scary. Usually it's, for me, it always revolved around somebody dying. Dear God, would you please back away? Camera. It's driving me nuts. Sorry, folks. And I used to get what I call black tar feeling. Just before it was imminent that they were going to die, and I've literally saved 4 lives from death from that. And it's kind of a big deal. You get involved in a stranger's life because of it, and come to find out they've got some major medical crisis that they don't know about, or they've got something that they've dealt with in their life, and you become involved in their life, and it's just like very intense. And then I had a situation where I had black tar feeling, and I did not pay attention to it, and we were hit in a T-bone car accident. Our family, my son was, I think, 2 or 3, and it caused a great ruckus within. It was just before Thanksgiving, a Thanksgiving week, and it caused a lot of problems. we're all eventually okay, but it was something that I learned really quickly. You pay attention to. How you build yours is you start opening yourself up very carefully. You start asking for protection. As a newbie, there are so many different ways to go about that. There's usually a lot of little things that you do to start building up and making yourself more aware. Start listening to your gut instinct much more often.
Yeah, I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, it really is. But there are a lot of different ways that you can actually focus your energy too. One of them is through candle work, real simple candle work. Another one is what Roselle was talking about, like when she talked about washing dishes. There's when you use elementals. So you've got fire in whether you're watching a campfire fire. You've got, so that's an elemental. Fire is an elemental. You've got water. Water is an elemental. So when you're taking a shower, or when you're washing dishes, even washing your hands, anytime you're using water, or if you've got your hands and you're a gardener, you've got your hands in soil. Soil is another elemental as long as it's from the earth and not potting soil. Big difference. So you're literally working with frequency and energy, and there's so many levels to opening yourself up. Start figuring out what books that are going to be more productive to you, what people, what authors write and actually speak to you. Listen to your instinct when you're searching. Find an author that really, really speaks to you. Listen to your gut instinct on it. Don't just buy any book willy-nilly. Just listen to your instinct on it. And ask your spirit to come in and say, hey, show me.
Guide me to it.
Yeah, guide me to it. I mean, I've literally been, what was this, 3 years ago? Before COVID. 3 years ago, I was in a used bookstore. I walked into, now granted, being a psychic medium, but when I'm in a bookstore, I usually dive. I'm not paying attention. Usually. And I walk into this aisle. I don't even remember exactly what I was looking for, but I was looking just kind of like browsing. And I passed by this row of books, obviously on my left-hand side, and I thought, well, I'm going to come back to that in a minute, that subject matter in a minute. And I head over to my right. I get done, and I hear a noise. There is nobody within two aisles over and like 3 aisles over to my left. Nobody around. And I'm like, I turn around. I'm looking. I'm actually expecting a human being, okay? There's nobody there. But a book was pulled out. And I thought, this is interesting. I turned back around and I ignored it.
Uh-oh.
Big mistake.
Yeah, that's
big
not good.
Mistake, because it was, I heard it was basically what I was hearing was the slide of the book.
Sliding out.
Because it was a hardbound book and it was sliding out. It was being slid out. And these books, the way this bookstore was doing everything, all the books were shoved up against the back of each bookcase. Unless they were the really skinny books in the book. This was a big book, very tall, big book, and I still have it to this day. And it's on a subject matter that I've got my dad, who's my spirit guide, and a loved one who was like, we're going to read this book. It was like, I think it was like $12 to $15 half off. And I'm like, and the subject bores me to tears. I think I've gotten through bits and pieces of it. I'm still going through the book. But
Wow.
they made sure that book was in my view because I am supposed to read that book. I'm having a
I
hard
think
time.
certain things get sent to you. I do.
Say that
And I
again.
think that certain things get sent to you for that. I'm a huge educator and just like reading these things too to not, so you don't feel crazy. So there's validation. Like, well, somebody else wrote that too, so they thought that and they had experience that was similar. I'm not crazy. I'm not wrong. We talked about a lot of the stuff too in the past about like, believing in, believing in the Bible and not believing in some things, right? But, like I said, like throw away the fluff that isn't needed and then go towards the other stuff. And it's like, that's what I have found in the things that I have to read. Like throw away the fluff and then concentrate on the actual happenings, the experiences, the event, and what makes you whole. You have a spirit on the right of you. I'm just going to tell you.
I know. It's
Yeah, it's a male.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you hear him talking because right now I'm not hearing him, but I can sense him.
I do.
And he's driving me nuts, going in and out.
He
I'm
is
like,
doing it in perfect. Yeah. He wants your attention.
and yes, he does.
You're ignoring him and sticking him off. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I'm trying to focus on what's going on here, and pretty soon I can feel he's going to build up until he's got my full undivided attention. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know. That's what I was like. I'm sorry, he's driving me nuts. I just have to warn you.
A shotgun with salt rock, I handle that really nice.
Okay, can you see? Can you actually see him? Because I'm feeling him, and I actually see him on today, which is very, very rare for me. I usually rarely wear perfume, and I'm not smelling them. I usually smell them and sense them. It's like real mild sensing right now, and it's because of all the crap that I've been through in the last 24 hours.
What does a spirit smell like?
It's a musk.
What?
Age we're looking at.
Is he messing with your speaker now?
What's
Teen spirit.
This explains why I was getting lightheaded.
I know Bigfoot
Meat
smells
over
like a
to your
wet dog
right.
and rotten meat, but what's a spirit smell like?
Teen.
I mean,
teen.
sometimes you can smell if they put out a smell. I mean, I have to say, I don't smell it all the time. But there's certain spirits like roses and stuff like that, like Mother Mary's roses. There was one like that house that I was just talking about that I was going to write the book about, but then the team all turned, so I didn't. But she would put out this rose smell. There are certain smells, like if you tell me like you're looking for it, I will tell you, I can tap into it. But would I normally do that? Probably not, unless they put out the smell. Is just not typical for me, but I can. So,
Yeah, I usually sense them, then I smell them. I smell what their body odor. What's their body odor?
that's interesting.
Honey, I've got all of the senses and then.
I mean, I do. I just don't usually go towards that one, I guess. But I'm like, I know how they die. I listen to the message.
Oh yeah, can you visually see them? I don't visually. Visually humans visual, but what I end up doing is I see them psychically, visually
In your mind's eye.
in my mind's eye, and I can tell you what shape they were physically before they died, or what they are presenting to me as what they look like at the died. I can tell you what color hair they had, what color eyes they had. I can tell you if they're Caucasian, if they're African American, Latino.
I can do that, yeah.
And I can get it, and it gets into how they died, and just very thankful that I'm seeing them like I used to.
I can see both, so I see physical and I see mind's eye, and it just depends. If you see me kind of like, looking all strange at something, and like that's what my daughter Okay, Mom, they are really there. Like, she knows. I'm like, do you see it too? Because that's a person who looks like I can go out and touch them. So I can do both. Yeah, it's really messing with you now. But this man died from a heart attack, and he just seems to want your attention. I think that he just knows that you have the gift, so he's after.
I'm hearing Uncle right now. And he's messing with my head enough to where I'm getting really lightheaded.
It's a strong one. I'm just saying, yeah, because like I can pick up on it if I tune. Of course, I already texted Paula this week her stuff. I was like, I can sense this. If you ever want like me to talk to you about it, and she's like, how did you do that? But yeah. You have a little interesting character over there. Good luck getting rid of him tonight is what I'm going to just warn you.
Now I can tell he's going to be with me. And it's interesting that you said heart attack because my family has been telling me repeatedly that if I don't start taking more magnesium, they fully expect me to have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that's not good. So I've been increasing my magnesium levels, and I've been getting told what I need to increase, and blah, 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 blah.
Have you gotten your blood pressure taken?
Not in the last 24 hours, but,
well,
yeah,
it's high right now.
Oh, I know it's high right now.
I can do body scans. Kind of, you talked about, like, medical a little bit before. I do body scans. I'm the scary person who will stop you at Kroger and be like, sorry, but you need to get surgery. And then people are like, what the hell?
So is Robert.
Is it
Robert?
It's Robert? Oh, so can Robert.
So can Robert. Robert is known as the human MRI.
Yeah. I can do that stuff. I'm always, and I do, like, I can tell people, like, if they have cancer and stuff. I've actually saved a lot of lives, at least by doing it, so that's good.
Yes.
Some you can't save, some you can. But, like Paula was saying earlier, too, about an experience, and you kind of said it a little bit, too, Nikki, about an experience I had. Interesting, kind of like going back to it for a minute, but I had this client who I called, and I was sitting in the car parking lot kind of thing, waiting to pick up my son at his school, and all of a sudden, like, because it had been hitting me all day, this vision, like, call her, tell her this, but you don't want to scare the crap out of people, especially if they're clients. Yeah. Make them think, like, you're crazy, and then you start to triple guess yourself, like, what if I'm wrong?
Yep.
But I know I'm not. So then I'm like, shoot, can I live with myself if this happens? So kind of like what you were talking about a little bit too, Robert, too, when you were a kid. But it's like, I called her and I'm like, don't answer the door. Do not answer the door. Don't order a pizza. I see you ordering a pizza, possibly thinking it's somebody else, and answering the door and getting, like, really hurt, killed, whatever. I just could not stop it. And I had the vision all day. Well, I told her this back in, it was like early May or something. And then she really got freaked out. Well, what happened was, this just happened a few months ago, where her roommate, they installed a new ring. And the roommate was also my client, who knew this and knew I'm not wrong. And she had the ring go off. It went to her phone. She was in the movie theater with another friend, also one of my clients. And they saw a man right in front of the girl's car, peeking into the windows. And that was also in my vision, because she was on the second floor and him looking up at the second floor. Now, because the roommate knew that, she called her and she said, do you have your phone? Where are you? Well, she had been in, like, the bathroom or something, so she did not know. And she was like, I don't have my phone with me. It didn't trigger, so I didn't hear it go off for the ring. And then she sent her the video, and she was like, oh my God. And she's like, stay there, get down on the floor and call 911. 911 showed up, and sure enough, he had no alibi for why he was there. He did admit that he was peeking into her car and her windows. And they got him off the property, But she said a short while later too that the camera picked him up again walking by. But she did not see him yet. But that was like at 12 o'clock at night that same night. And they say that, I saved her life by doing that because she could have answered the door. If he would have knocked on the door, she wouldn't have known. Heard it, just went over to the door. So
Yep.
it's interesting. And I've had another situation with a friend who the husband was an alcoholic. And I said, get out of the house now. He's coming over with a gun at 2:08 p.m. He went over, opened the garage door, saw our car was gone, closed the garage, and never went into the house. And he was going to blow his whole family away. Her and his children that he had with her. So, you have to listen to your intuition. And you talking about that earlier, just kind of, oh, wait a minute, I remember that one. So I do a lot of warnings to people a lot. But also, I've been driving my car. Have you guys ever experienced where you're driving your car and all of a sudden you hear the words stop, like screaming at you? And if you didn't stop, like I've stopped, and a car it would have hit me if I wouldn't have stopped and listened to it. And you think, I can't stop in this intersection, I'm going to get hit. But I did. This happened to me twice, 3 days in a row, which was weird. Both while trying to pick up my son at school. So it seems to be 3 o'clock or something is like my my message hour. But yeah, that has really happened to me twice. It's like, if I didn't listen to that, holy crap. One time I was even on the phone and I still listened to the stop, and my friend heard like, and then she heard my car brake, and she was like, "Are you there? Are you okay?" I'm like, if I didn't just listen to that stop in my head screaming at me over even our phone call, I would be dead. So you have to really listen. But other examples, do you guys have other ones?
Nope, I'm rather boring on that regard.
I've got one that tells me when there's cops ahead. That's in the car.
I'm usually the one who is, when it first started, I was in higher consciousness form, only a number of my friends and I thought it was a form of, not astral projection, kind of like remote viewing, but it wasn't. It's a form of higher consciousness. And I would be literally projected, and it didn't feel like me doing it. It felt like somebody literally pulling out a fraction of my higher consciousness. And I would be in the vehicle, sitting next to my friend who was driving, and for whatever reason, I was supposed to be with her and visually see what she was seeing. And in near car accidents. And she's like, I gotta call Nikki. And the next thing I know, I'm back in my body. She's calling me. And this is like seconds later. And I'm like, I know, I was with you. She goes, I felt that.
So you were kind of astral projecting, right?
It wasn't astral projection. What we figured, because I know what I haven't done astral in a long, long time, but it wasn't the form of astral projection, and it wasn't remote viewing. I found out later it was a form of higher consciousness, but it wasn't me doing it. It was me being pulled out by one of my spirit guides saying, you're going to be here. Yeah. And this was my very beginning of higher consciousness travel. It was a totally different mind bender.
Interesting.
Are you actually going to calm down? Thank you. So
you have 5 minutes.
I literally wrote him a note, and I'm like, "Read the note."
Good idea. That's really smart, man.
Read the note. I will talk to you immediately after the show. You will have my undivided attention, and I could just. It was like I could feel my. It's like I'm getting this. I'm getting.
It's right over there. Yeah, that's where the tingling.
Yeah. So he's calming down a bit. I can feel it, but it's like I get this look. I haven't forgotten you, dude. Seriously, calm the F down. Anyway, so that was So I've had experiences like that where I've literally been pulled out, and now I can do it automatically. But that was, yeah. So that was complete mind bender that could even be done.
I've astro projected a lot of places, even while awake.
Yeah,
I've done that. I'll turn lights on in people's houses, stuff like that. It's kind of funny, like, you know, just kind of freak them out just because it's fun. But I'm banging, and they're like, "You did that."
So I am curious. Have you ever had a premonition that didn't come true?
No.
Yes.
Like, I have had things not come true if the people listen to me of a warning, like the clients I was just talking about. Then because like I'm stopping it. You know what I mean? Like, if they listen to me, it won't happen. Those are the only times. Unfortunately.
No, I've had one where it was an earthquake. It was going to be in Seattle. It was going to be a really big freaking earthquake. And the interesting thing is that, and it was very, very specific for Washington State. And I later, like 3 months later, talked to R. Keith Andrews, and he said that he had talked to, he calls Earth Itzhak, or she tells him her name is Itzhak. And so, and everybody else pretty much calls her Gaia. But anyway, and he said that was during the time when I was talking to her, and we were talking about calming down. And I went, well, it actually explained to me, because it literally gave the exact time frame, because I was getting told by guides and by ETs that were being telepathic with me that we are going to have a major earthquake. It was going to be in the 8s. And it was going to be a big one. And
That'd be Cascadia.
It never happened. And he was like, because he's in British Columbia. He's east of Vancouver in British Columbia. And so I just got told the name. I do know the name. I just wasn't going to say it out loud, guys. And so, and I said, well, that actually makes sense, because they would not let up with me for a week and a half before this time frame. I mean, they literally gave me it was like a 4 or 5 day window that was so strong. And the interesting thing is that I could feel it in my feet, because I'm really, really susceptible to very minor earthquakes around me. And I could feel it, but it was like it hit a 1.2, and I'm like, wow, okay, so, well, better than an 8 or an 8.8, except for just what it was supposed to be, but anyway. So, yeah, that was one that did not come true, and it actually rather pissed me off, but then I was like, what the hell are you thinking? Be thankful. Like, why would you want... And I'm like, no, I didn't. I just wanted to be proven. It's like, come on, Nikki. So, you know, but that's the only one that hasn't, to my knowledge, that has not come true.
You know, it's interesting you said that thing about you're sensitive to earthquakes. I was in Italy, and we were on this tour, just like me and my husband, before kids. And we were in this group, and I walked into this. It used to be a big palace of some emperor or something. And we walked in, and now it's like turned into a huge hotel. And the guide was checking everybody in to make sure that she got all of our rooms. And I was like, I'm going to be sick. The floor is shaking, and I can't stop the feeling. Like, the floor is shaking. And my husband slightly felt it, but other people did not. And then when the guy came up to us to give me the keys and stuff, me and my husband, I said, is the floor shaking? Like, is there a mini earthquake going on? And she said, that is insane that you said that. A lot of people cannot feel it. Yes, there is always something going on right here, specifically in this spot. And it was something, there was obviously some type of scientific name to it, whatever. But I felt it, and the other people did not really feel it. What?
A microquake?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is what she said. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like constant.
I'm very sensitive to barometer pressure changes and shifts.
Oh my God, me too.
Around me, and it's stuff that drives me absolutely nuts.
It can make me sick. Yeah.
Yes.
Really sick.
Makes me
fast.
Sick. Very easy.
I have like elevation sickness stuff, especially now, and it's only since I started using my gifts so much. Like there's some places I can't even drive to. It's very weird. And I get really, and it's funny, we were talking too about the spooky hospital thing too, and feeling the buildings. Akron, it makes me very sick when I drive through Akron, Ohio now. And my niece and nephew live there, so I'm like, oh crap. So, and in fact, actually, he's getting married there, my nephew, next year. So I'm like, okay, my husband has to drive. and then when I start to stick my hand in the hospitals, don't care.
So I've got a question. Are they doing any, I want to call it fracking, but it's not fracking. Are there any underground, not sure what to call it.
They have a lot of those drill
gas
wells.
buckets.
Yeah, there's stuff that I'm picking up on, and I can't quite grasp what it is. There's something that's underground that's shifted in that area. That's literally what I picked up on when you said.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, because it seems to be around that area. It's only when I drive through the area. And I recently, now twice, have driven through Asheville, North Carolina, and the Smoky Mountains and all these things. Like, I would have been feeling it. It's only this Akron area. And I mean, it makes me so queasy and dizzy. I almost feel like I'm going to pass out at the wheel.
Yeah.
It's never happened to me in my life. I mean, except for when I went to Grand Canyon. I will not, that's true. I went to Grand Canyon. I got really messed up. And my father was like, what is wrong with you? Just did not react well to it. I'm like, Dad, I feel like I need to go to the hospital. Like, that's how bad it was.
How old were you at the time?
In the Grand Canyon, I was, that's 13 years ago. So,
okay, never mind.
That's 30. Probably 30. But now, this Akron thing has become I've gone through there so many times. Never had anything. In the last 3 years, it's really affected me big time. So strange. I mean, there's a lot of the people who they have those drill things on their land. They're drilling for gas or whatever it is and selling it or using it for their houses, mainly out there in the country. But that this kind of thing mostly is mainly in a very civilized area. Let's say that, city and the mountains. They're not really mountains at all, really. I should say hills. It's really accurate, but yeah, just makes me feel very dizzy, very dizzy. So maybe there is something more to that. I mean, it's interesting.
Do you experience this around the airports of the area, or?
Well, there is actually one, yeah.
Yeah.
Not now where I live, but there, yeah, and the hotel.
Yeah, in Akron.
The hotel's right across the street from that airport, and I tell you, I felt sick all the time.
Would that be the Akron Fulton Airport?
I think it might have been. I think there is only one in Akron.
Yeah.
There was a Hilton Garden Inn.
Yeah, I pulled up the map and that's what I'm getting. That's the area that this microquake was in.
Yeah, the Hilton Garden Inn, and it made me sick the whole time driving there. And I tell you, even until I drove out. See, Dickie, I told you had 5 minutes.
That's just the underground bases they're building. You're not supposed to know about them.
So I keep seeing tunnels. That's what I keep seeing.
Yeah,
And
it's
you're
the
talking-
underground bases. Now you're going to have black Suburbans flooding around your house and helicopters flying over your house because you know something you're not supposed to know.
If you become a targeted individual, come talk to me because we'll have a lot to talk about. There's
Me?
a way to, yeah, there's a way to protect yourself.
Are you talking about like kind of alien stuff, or are you talking about other stuff? Oh,
no.
okay.
It's
Talking about
secret government.
shit.
If I told you about it, I'd have to tell you.
The black sites.
Because I'm
No, I
a
kind of
targeted,
take care of my kids.
I'm a targeted individual because I talk about the book and the book that I got to read when I was 18, 19, whatever age I was, and
Oh.
And you
ever
didn't take
since
pictures.
I did.
Shame on you.
Ever since I did, well, I didn't have money to have film back then. Otherwise, believe me, I would have. I had a photocopy machine.
No, you could have used a Polaroid. Come on.
Actually,
They had
Anyway.
Polaroids back then.
yes, they did, but I didn't have them. My
You could have
grandparents.
hid those pictures in your pocket. You would have the book right now.
So,
I mean, I looked it up, and the symptoms all say elevation sickness, and I do remember feeling that way on that Grand Canyon. But I'm like, I've never had this before, except for only at that moment. So it's
Yeah,
very weird, and it's only that area.
okay, so here's a couple of things. ETs, the wrong kind of ETs can make you feel like that. Also, different kinds. Now, this is psychic stuff, okay? So this is all in relation to psychic, your abilities. Your abilities.
Okay.
So ETs can make you feel that way if they're the wrong kind of ETs. Energy in different government underground facilities can make you feel that way, especially if they've got ETs. Now, not everything's revolving around ETs, but if you do have, if you are around an underground government facility that is working on certain things that are hidden and top secret, as a psychic, you can get nailed by the freaking energy. So just be aware of it. Now, regarding the Grand Canyon, you may have been picking up on something that was in plain view but hidden.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, that Grand Canyon. I felt like really, I just wanted to flee and get the hell out of there, even without the energy, like, you know, whatever it was that I was picking up, because it made me feel like just you want to run because something is wrong. And it felt like it was also in the past. I can't explain it besides that. I just don't know.
Interesting.
I was almost killed by a bag of lottery once, but I was being shot at. That's why it all, yeah. We won't talk about that story.
Well, I've had like a lot of UFO experiences, and I'm always with somebody every time it does happen too, so I have witnesses. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, I've had a lot of stuff. I'm just like, just stay away from me. I'm not doing it. And I do think that there is something with, I heard somebody a long time ago say, like, no, they just kind of like, they let me know that they're there, and I don't know, like they follow her or something with the psychic energy. I wasn't sure, but I think might be something to that. Like, we know you have gifts, and we're just letting you know that we're here. I have a ton of video of it too. I just never turned anything in because I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known for my messages from God. I don't want to be known for the other stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like
honey, I got quite the reputation regarding the ET shit. So if you ever want to have a conversation and have to protect yourself, and yeah, yeah. So I've become really well known for that shit now. I would like to be a little.
Robert, your thing's not turned on or something.
I was just saying, yes, go to her if you need help. Go to her.
Oh, okay.
What are we talking
Yes,
about
I
this
think
week?
we're all an interesting bunch, so, you know,
No clue.
because I think we all can help each other
Shit.
in every
Yes.
state.
Let's talk
yeah,
about
like-
alien secret
Say that
underground
for fun.
bases.
Veteran show next week.
What?
Do we want to try and do
Well, you know, I live by Wright Pat,
That's
so
true.
which is funny.
No.
I know a lot of stuff's going on in
Okay.
there with just my abilities,
What Fred say?
but it never has affected me that way
It's not just veterans.
because I've been on base many times, and I've done the
We'll try
readings
this
for my books. My books never had a
We don't have
problem.
to touch Veterans Day, but we could touch.
It's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yes and no.
We don't have
I
Memorial
mean,
Day
it-
everywhere else.
Okay, so next week we are going to try doing Veterans Day.
Say it again.
Remember and stay.
What?
Remember and stay next week.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about paranormal military next week.
We can fucking talk about the biggest fight that's happening this year. Friend, everyone
Nick,
wants
did you
poppies on the
get
goddamn
that?
sidewalks.
Hmm.
Like, it is all over my fucking Facebook. It's hilarious.
Poppies on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Friend. Which I get. But I don't think it's something we should be walking on.
No.
Like,
No.
it kind of, to me, that sends the wrong message, but whatever.
Yeah.
Friend, Rosella,
Yeah.
tell us what you're going to be on.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Okay, because I completely forgot. Yeah, so I am doing a special event in Marblehead, Ohio, if you are in the area or want to drive to it. It is December 1st and December 2nd. I am doing readings at the Marblehead Soap Company, which is actually the owner of the building has graciously let us come in. I'm doing readings from 11 to 4 p.m. there. And then that is Friday, December 1st and 2nd. And then actually December 2nd is a special night because there is a paranormal team called Blue Collar Paranormal. They're from Kentucky. They have a long haul all the way up to Upper Ohio, Lake Erie. And they're going to have me in for their psychic medium for the building. It's really cool because I get a lot of activity from the past that defines that building, but I also get that it is a happy building now because of the owner. So really interesting kind of things. And also the owner is not allowed to play any music but apparently Christmas music, or else the channel or anything is changed or it's turned off apparently. I just learned this. So it's very interesting, but I have my podcast, A Haunting Good Time, that I just do mostly paranormal investigations with my friend Misty, who's a romance novelist. And we will be basically recording that live and putting it out there for everybody. But I'm trying to get these listeners also and my listeners, because I have like 1 few K or something listeners for mine. And I'm trying to bring those listeners over here and vice versa. So I think that it would be kind of fun. And I have my readings at Readings by Rosella page. I just got hacked yesterday, and I think that hopefully it has finally stopped. So I had to change a lot and everything, but it means I'm basically up and rising, I guess, because my videos have hit very high numbers in the past 2 weeks and everything, and I go live once in a while, and you can get maybe a free psychic medium reading. I throw your shit in your face and make you change. So if you don't like it, don't follow me. That's what I have to say. I am extremely blunt. And boundaries, baby. We must all have them and own them. So yeah, I think that'll be kind of fun. But I'm trying to do some advertising for this podcast and the other things that I kind of do, and help other people as well. So yeah, it'd be kind of fun. I mean, actually too, there's some other interesting people in that paranormal group if you guys ever want to have them on as guests. Apparently this one guy has 5 experiences a day or a week or something. So I'm going to do a special maybe interview on mine with him. He seems like he's had a lot of interesting stuff. So I think that between the both of us, it will never be boring. So
Rock on.
I'm never boring. I can say that. I wish for boredom, but it doesn't happen. But yeah, so if you guys ever want to have special guests on or something like that, we can maybe arrange that. But that'd be fun. But yeah, so listen on the East Coast, listen on the West Coast. Let's all join. Yay.
Absolutely.
Love and peace. Love, peace, and paranormal.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
All right, I gotta trademark that, okay? I love it.
Just make
And
sure.
I throw your shit in your face and make you change. I swear,
Just
that's all mine.
make sure readings are legal in that state.
Oh, tarot?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Actually, mostly, yeah. So I do the tarot stuff, like online in front of you, when you ask. But mostly, I do angel. Is mostly my stuff that I love to do. I make the angels throw your shit in your face and make you change. Then I'm not responsible, and then your spirits come through. So I've had a lot of very interesting things. Lights flash and things like happen too when they're all not listening. So you can tell they're trying to make people lead them to the right space, right, and place in their life. But that is interesting. I'm gonna have to check that out about Ohio, because I never knew that before you guys said that last week. See, I'm always learning from you guys. You're awesome. Neat.
Yeah, but something like that shouldn't even be a fucking thing. But enough about that.
Dude, there's still fucking states that have actual reading as illegal, probably. For like
More
Florida.
likely.
Seems
Well, yeah,
like,
they're burning.
Seems like Florida's a place that would have
Dude,
that.
they're burning the good books. So, yeah.
I mean, even just road signs.
There's a few places where holding a fish suspiciously is illegal.
Eh?
I can see you being the cause of that.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
You're not wrong, but
Well,
wow.
Do not interfere with that trout.
Last time I checked, tarot reading was illegal in Texas, and so it's about as Florida west as it gets sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, you should look that up, Rick, since you're good at that. Okay, Ohio. You're my research man. You and Eric.
Oh well, my research person is on the other side of me, and she's dozing in and out. So she's had a long day. Yeah, she's had a long day. So we're fighting Social Security.
She just commented 1 minute ago.
Oh, she is awake. Oh, go away.
That was a second.
Yeah, she just
I'm
wrote.
sitting here looking. Yeah, I'm looking at Google and everything else. I'm trying to. Oh, there she is. Oh, son of a gun. That happens.
I have to go back and forth into the screen.
Yeah, well, I just every now and then I just kind of put my finger over by her nose to see if any air is coming out, just to make sure. So.
Not a bad problem.
And for those of Synergy, I just like to say one of my buddies from Somalia is dying. So.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll say some prayers.
I will too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, next week, so when we do that, yeah, you have to have a convo with him for sure. We get off. But did you get what I was saying, Nikki, about the Gettysburg thing? Did you remember what I was saying?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'll type something up because I don't talk a lot about that one situation. It revolves around two situations, actually. So, okay, calm down.
Yes.
I need to go off of video at least. But anyway, yeah, when do you need it by?
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just saying, if you weren't going to be on the show, then I could read it for you if you weren't going to be on the show.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I just wanted you to remember what I was like, so, I'm not crazy.
You read it? No, you're not crazy. I will write it down. Because I do remember us talking about that.
Well, if you're crazy, we all are.
Yeah. In regard to Gettysburg, real quick, if either one of you run into General Dan Sickles from that battle, it was day 2, ask him what the heck he was thinking that day. Just I want to know what he was thinking.
I
Why
want
don't
a
you run
beer.
into a few icicles?
In the
Yeah,
spring.
he's wanting a beer.
I do
Right.
plan to go with my friend Misty in the spring and then podcast it. So that'll be really interesting. Like, we're going to stay for 3-day weekend, and it will be extremely active. Like, we're going to do like 8 things. And then also, there's a man who manifests near a cannon around that area in the park, and only at night. And we're going to sit in the car, and we're going to wait to see if we see him. So, I mean, I see it so much with my mind's eye, but I'd love to see it in an actual person. So that'd be kind of neat.
Just if you see a cannonball flying towards you, just duck.
Yeah,
Goose.
that would be definitely good advice.
It's Goose now.
Oh, just goose.
Yeah. Friend, don't you remember Top Gun? He went down.
Yeah.
Friend, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week. We will see you later. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out, today was the first day they released the new trailer for the new Ghostbusters movie that's coming out. Friend, I watched it this afternoon, and it was freaking awesome. Friend, I am so excited.
It looked
I didn't know there was
great.
one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like what?
sequel to the reboot.
yeah.
I have to see
Well-
the reboot still.
Yeah, it's a continuation of the kids' story, but they're bringing back all of the original Ghostbusters to actually fight. So,
Oh, awesome.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
great. Oh, yeah, great.
friend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thank you, panel, and we will see you all next week.
Good night.
All right,
Yeah, thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a bitch.